Okay, day 2 for our wax slip inlay test tiles. So the first thing you're going to do is unwrap your project from your cubby, bring it out to your desk, and I want you to check it for dryness. First of all, it should be much more leather hard, meaning that we can't really bend the clay without it cracking. The other thing is you can see that the engobe is actually dry. When you turn it to the side and use the light, you can see it's no longer shiny. And then if we touch it with our finger, even on the areas that look a little bit thicker, where the engobe is on thicker, it doesn't come off on our finger. So that's the most important thing. So we're gonna move into the next step, which is adding the wax to this test tile. So the wax is found in this jar. You can see it's called Wax Resist. And wax has several different applications in ceramics. We use it, it's called a resist because nothing really sticks to it. And that's what's cool about wax. For this project, we're going to use it to inlay, and I'm going to show you that special step on the next day. But today, we're just going to apply the wax in preparation. You get the wax from the engobe cabinet. It's on the very bottom shelf. You'll see it's labeled Wax Resist. If it's not in the cabinet, it means somebody has it. You can either ask me for another jar, or you can wait or sit next to that person. Painting on the wax. Oh, haha, brand new for this demo. Painting on the wax is really simple. We don't have to worry about too much. We're just going to use a nice clean brush, and you're going to paint it on. If you want to use a fatter brush or a flat brush, you can. So for example, this would be a flat brush. It's one of the red handles. This one has been abused a little bit, but it paints it a little bit faster. As you paint on the wax, you want it to go on thick enough that you cannot see the engobe through it. I'm gonna change because I'm getting quite a shadow there. Let's see if this works any better. All right. Another thing to note is that if our engobe was still wet, if we painted this wax on with wet engobe, the engobe would smear into the wax and it would ruin our design. We would no longer have these nice leaves painted on. They would be kind of smeared blobs. So that is one nice solid coat of wax. You can see it's already starting to dry up here. It's turning a little bit darker. It might have been a little bit thinner where my brush was, but that's okay. We're gonna let this dry again overnight. If we don't allow it to dry overnight, it's gonna be way too sticky. And as you start this next technique, it's gonna stick to itself and it's gonna drive you crazy. So the last thing to talk about is wax in our brushes. So both of these brushes have wax caked in them. And it's really important to make sure that we clean this out so that we don't ruin somebody else's project. If they're using it thinking it's a nice clean brush and it still has wax residue in it, it would be really annoying. And also when it dries, it almost looks like boogers. It's super gross. So make sure that you wash it out with water, and then I use a little bit of soap and I just use my fingers and I'll actually rub the bristles like this with the soap in it and then clean it out. And again, always putting the brushes in the can, bristles up. Alrighty.